Like a Hellcat.
Hi, it's Katrina. From environmentally friendly air taxis that will cut our travel time in half to prototypes of floating cruise ships with swimming pools, here are 10 amazing prototypes and futuristic jets of tomorrow. Number 10. Aerion AS2. A joint endeavor between Boeing and the Texas-based startup Aerion seeks to develop the AS2, a 12-passenger supersonic business jet that will enable corporate bigwigs to cut their transatlantic crossing time by 3 hours. Boeing recently entered the picture as the replacement for Lockheed Martin, the company Aerion was previously partnered with. The new investor plans to accelerate the AS2's development by generously funding the project through engineering, manufacturing, and flight test resources. The AS2 is the brainchild of Aerion's founder, Texas billionaire Robert Bass. He hopes to reintroduce supersonic civilian flight, which was discontinued in 2003. The Concorde, which flew at more than twice the speed of sound, or Mach 2, was the only supersonic jet to ever fly commercially. Its operators were required to comply with strict noise restrictions due to the aircraft's supersonic booms as it broke through the noise barrier once and then again. For this reason, the Concorde's flight routes were more or less limited to ocean crossings. The exorbitant cost of operating the impressive jet ultimately proved to be more than it was worth. General Electric has completed an initial engine design for the AS2 that should enable the jet to fly at supersonic speeds while adhering to strict sound and emissions guidelines. But to avoid suffering the same fate as the Concorde, or even worse, one of the numerous failed supersonic jet programs of recent decades, the AS2 will have to be economically sustainable. Assuming everything goes according to plan, the AS2 will fly at Mach 1.4, or approximately 1,000 miles per hour, 70% faster than today's speediest business jets. Its maiden flight is scheduled for 2023. Number 9. The Flying V. Dutch national airline KLM is collaborating with Delft University of Technology to design the prototype for a fuel-efficient, long-distance commercial aircraft. Justice Benad, a former student at the Technical University of Berlin, thought up the idea for the Flying V. The futuristic V-shaped plane will use 20% less fuel than today's most advanced airplane, the Airbus A350, despite having the same wingspan and 314 passenger capacity. This is because it will be smaller, lighter, and more aerodynamically efficient, creating less drag. Its fuel tank, passenger cabin, and cargo hold will be integrated directly into the wing design. The current design implements the most fuel-efficient turbofans in existence, according to KLM, and is adaptable to future technological innovations, such as electronic turbofans. The ultimate goal is to achieve an emission-free flight, according to Professor Henry Verrey of Delft University. If you're hoping to take a ride on this airplane, plan to wait a while. The Flying V is projected to enter service between 2040 and 2050. Number 8. Spike S512. The Spike Aerospace S512 supersonic business jet is slated to be the world's first supersonic private jet, and it promises big things. At a cruising speed of Mach 1.6 or around 1,100 miles per hour, the 12 to 18 passenger aircraft will transport riders from New York to London in under 4 hours. It will also offer non-stop flights between London and Hong Kong, as well as New York City and Dubai, at a 40% time savings compared to other modern jets, or about 450 miles per hour faster. Spike's Boston-based crew is composed of former Airbus, Bombardier, and Gulfstream engineers, as well as entrepreneurs and investors willing to fund the ambitious vision. One major thing they haven't figured out is how to quiet the loud boom that has caused the Federal Aviation Administration, or the FAA, to ban supersonic overland flights. It's something Boeing, Lockheed Martin, and NASA are all trying to remedy, yet the Spike S512 promises a very low sonic boom, courtesy of patent-pending technology. At a hefty price tag of at least $100 million, let's hope the S512 delivers on this and all of its other guarantees. Spike originally promised for the S512 to hit the skies at the end of 2018, but it hasn't happened yet. You can, however, reserve a jet on their website, indicating that the company fully plans to see its project to fruition. We gotta get on that! Make our reservations now! Number 7. Airship cruise liner. In 2017, a concept image of a flying cruise ship appeared on Reddit, causing many to wonder, what if? The picture shows a blimp-like aircraft with a glass roof and a pool underneath, surrounded by guests. Internet users became enamored with the idea and gave the space-age plane nicknames like the Sky-tanic and Fly-tanic. Of course, there were some common-sense questions regarding this seemingly unrealistic vehicle, including what would happen if it hit turbulence. One user suggested that the swimming pool would simply become a wave pool, a fun idea to some and undoubtedly a terrifying prospect for others. But the idea of a flying cruise ship may not be as crazy as it sounds. One company has entertained the possibility of an airship that becomes airborne like a helium balloon, called the Aeroscraft. The prototype would be the world's largest aircraft and possibly the world's largest cruise ship, defeating Royal Caribbean's Symphony of the Seas, which has a 6,780 passenger capacity. What do you think of these floating airships with pools? Are they a possibility? Would you fly in one? Let me know in the comments below. Number 6. The Stratolaunch. Microsoft co-founder and billionaire Paul Allen founded Stratolaunch Systems Corporation, which built the world's largest all-composite aircraft, the Stratolaunch. The twin fuselage plane has a 385-foot wingspan, which is longer than a football field, and 6 jet engines. According to its website, the Stratolaunch was designed as a mobile launch platform for airline-style access to space that is convenient, affordable, and routine. It has a reinforced center wing with a carrying capacity of 500,000 pounds, enabling it to carry multiple launch vehicles. The Stratolaunch flew for the first time last April. It spent 2.5 hours over the Mojave Desert, reaching a maximum speed of 189 miles per hour and altitudes of up to 17,000 feet. Despite this successful first flight, Stratolaunch Systems Corporation changed ownership from its holding company, Vulcan Inc., to an unknown buyer several months later. The company hit the market in June at a $400 million asking price, and all anyone seems to know is that an anonymous buyer grabbed it up. Rumors swirled about Virgin Group founder Richard Branson being interested, but he reportedly pitched an offer of just $1, meaning he's probably not the new owner of Stratolaunch. Number 5. Maverick. If you ask Airbus, the future of passenger aircraft lies in the company's model aircraft for validation and experimentation of robust, innovative controls, or Maverick project. The European aircraft manufacturer revealed a model of the ultra-modern jet it hopes to eventually create in February at the Singapore Air Show 2020. The model is based on a blended wing design that is typically used for military aircraft, with the fuselage being incorporated into the wing. Put simply, it looks like a single giant wing. Its engines won't be under the wing like they are on many aircrafts, but will instead be attached to vertical stabilizers at the plane's rear. The blended wing will decrease resistance and improve fuel efficiency by around 20%, according to Airbus. It will also create a wide rather than long interior, meaning the inside of the plane will look much different than what modern passengers are used to. Unlike the tubular fuselages of today's commercial planes, designers will have a large, unusually shaped space to work with. This means that business class might not be at the front, where we're used to seeing it, and the seats may not even be in conventional rows. Maybe they'll be more comfortable. Airbus quietly began the Maverick project in 2017, and in 2019 began running tests on a 10.5-foot wide remote-controlled model. Number 4. The world's first air taxi. In our ever-advancing world, the idea of urban transportation through flight isn't entirely unrealistic, and it may not be too far into the future. Daniel Weigand is the founder of Lilium, a secret startup devoted to creating an all-electric plane for transporting passengers over cities. He believes that within 5 years, it will be possible to fly from Manhattan to John F. Kennedy Airport in Queens for just $70. If you've ever gotten stuck in traffic on your way to the airport in a New York City yellow cab, then you know this is a ridiculously reasonable fare, especially for a 10-minute trip. In fact, it almost sounds too good to be true. Weigand has built a prototype of his dream aircraft, which he keeps in an airplane hangar outside Munich. Lilium is just one of 20 or so companies that are invested in the aerial taxi market. Big companies like Toyota, Porsche, and Uber, and big investors like Google co-founder Larry Page are eagerly funding and designing what they believe is the best version of tomorrow's method of getting from point A to point B. Morgan Stanley estimates that by 2040, the industry will top $850 billion. Whether the industry will take off as soon as some people hope is a matter of speculation. The FAA and other regulators will have to develop guidelines revolving around electronic flight safety, and building a reasonably priced, durable jet remains a yet unsolved engineering feat. Number 3. Boom Overture. In late 2016, billionaire and Virgin Group founder Sir Richard Branson unveiled the XB-1, a half-sized prototype for a supersonic 40-passenger jet that will travel between New York City and London in just 3 hours and 15 minutes. Branson has long been passionate about the prospect of supersonic passenger flight. In 2003, he fought to keep the Concorde in the air and even entertained the idea of buying one, but these endeavors failed. Virgin Galactic and the Denver-based startup Boom Supersonic are working together to turn this vision into a reality in the form of a commercial aircraft known as Overture. It's meant to be the fastest ever passenger plane, offering affordable flights between the two major cities in less than half the time it takes with conventional aircraft. It will fly 10% faster than the Concorde at Mach 2.2, or 1,451 miles per hour. Nicknamed the Baby Boom, the XB-1 prototype was originally slated to fly for the first time in 2019, but the date has been pushed back to sometime this year. Perhaps the biggest factor working in Virgin and Boom's favor, and against their competitors, is that the plane is being built using already existing technology. The 3-engine Overture's sonic boom is projected to be 30 times quieter than that of the Concorde, and the jet should be able to fly farther and more economically. Boom Supersonic is so confident in this project, they're planning sales ahead of time, with the current price for a plane ticket from London to New York set at $3,100. Would you buy a ticket this early and for this price? Let me know in the comments below. Number 2. Progress Eagle. In 2015, designer and aviation enthusiast Oscar Vinyls released his conceptual design for the AWWA QG Progress Eagle, a zero-emission, tri-level aircraft that would hold as many as 800 passengers. The plane will be powered by 6 hydrogen engines. The eco-friendly contraption's rear engine would also function as a wind turbine, and its roof and wings would contain solar panels. As if the far-flung concept couldn't get any more challenging and possibly ridiculous, Vinyls hopes for the plane to hit the skies around 2030. The man admitted that technology isn't ready to bring his vision to life, proving he's at least somewhat sane, but he believes we're about 40% there. To give you an idea, the largest commercial jet currently in service is the Airbus A380, a double-decker that holds over 500 passengers. While it's more fuel-efficient per passenger than an average car, the long-haul plane has a fuel capacity of nearly 82,000 gallons, indicating that flight technology is nowhere near ready for a zero-emission, 800-passenger jet, let alone within the next decade. However, everything started with a dream, just maybe the timeline needs to be changed. Number 1. Link and Fly. In 2018, the Paris-based global engineering and research and development firm ACA Group presented a prototype of its Link and Fly aircraft at the Paris Air Show. The Link and Fly concept surpasses the idea of an aerial taxi and instead takes air travel to the next level. It's a subway in the sky. Boarding a flight would start at someone's local train station, where they would board a tube-shaped train and head to the airport. Once there, the cylindrical pod would travel to the runway and be affixed with a cockpit and wings. Then it would take to the skies. After arriving in the destination city, it would convert back into a train and deliver all of the passengers to convenient locations. ACA CEO Maurice Ritchie believes that once driverless cars become commonplace, airplanes will naturally come next, according to a Bloomberg interview that took place at the air show. The 162-seat aircraft that would be used for this purpose would have a cruising speed of 598 miles per hour and a maximum cruising altitude of 39,800 feet. Creating such a vehicle would not be easy or cheap. Not only would it have to be multifunctional as both a train and an aircraft, but airport infrastructure would have to be upgraded so the trains could roll right onto the runway, as writer Jay Bennett pointed out in a 2018 Popular Mechanics article. While this may not be realistic at the moment or anytime in the near future, it's an interesting possibility to consider for, well, someday.